Yeah. Kind of lost track of time, but we did tell people we were going to do a little bit of OSL today,
Oh yeah, I mean we can
and,
talk about
and
it.
we have not talked about that at
We can
all.
also just do it.
Let's.
Let's just do it, folks. Let's just do it. We're gonna get in here. So, much like doing highlights on things, like when we were talking about these body bags up here, um, figuring out where to place uh, the reflected or not reflected light, but cast light from like a lantern or something is kind of the same general idea, except you're going to imagine the focal point being the lantern, right? So the reason I did it down here is we got lantern coming out here and it's shooting down onto, oops, poke the hat, onto that here and onto the brim of the hat. It's still a little bit underneath here. You can see that kind of varied color underneath there, the little blue. And that's because some of this color will still be underneath this hat, but it won't be nearly as strong as the top. Same with the shoulder. We had it on there in the shoulder, a little bit down here in the chest. But the further away you get from the source, the more diffused and not and kind of not saturated the color is going to be. So the rule of thumb is closer the object of light, the more and stronger the color is going to be. So like up here on these ropes, we're just going to start dotting out some of these ropes. We're going to put some color on one of these skulls. We're going to do the same thing here, just because those are going to have some on there. Same thing on this side. Read in here. Do a little bit of that on the underside of this skull, because it's gonna basically be a circle like this, right? That kind of goes out. So you want to go around the lamp. So we'll do a little bit on the top and bottom of the lamp here.
Is there a good way to judge how far you go with it?
It's kind of just try it, and if it looks weird, then it probably is wrong.
Okay.
Is kind of the general idea, right? I'm not going to put any down here because there's no light coming out of the bottom of the lamp. So these are not going to get illuminated quite the same way. Might be a little bit down here and down here. But aside from directly below, you're not going to see anything.
So we have a P3 video on doing OSL with Brendan, and his one of his suggestions was thinking about the source of the light as a grenade.
Yeah.
And then the light that comes out being is the paint and where it lands. So that coincides with what you were talking about. But if that helps with the visual,
Yeah, it's a little bit of a difference in like visual concept of what I'm talking about, right? And you can be a little crazy with it too. Like this is a little bit further back, but I'm also imagining that this lamp is also sending light out behind, and that these skulls are not completely tight on there. So I'm imagining that there'd be some amount of light that's going to pierce through here and hit the back of this right here, which is why I'm putting it back here. Also, it just kind of sells the overall vibe, right? Like, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense for the light to be there, putting a little bit of light on the body bag helps kind of sell the. Let me see if I can. There it is back there. Kind of sells the effect and the kind of the atmosphere that you're wanting to sell with the model, right? Like, I want this to be kind of an eerie, dark area, with the light being kind of the focal point, which I think we've achieved pretty well. And the rest of the model will be kind of dark and grungy as a result, and that's to keep your eye looking here and then traveling along his shoulder to his hat. And that's the thing too, is like when you're painting a model like this, you want somebody's eye to go to a specific point and then travel along to different places. You want to tell a story that way, right? So in this case, it's
An
there's a
eye
lantern
story.
here. Huh?
An eye story.
An eye story. Eye stories.
Bum, bum, bum.
Boom, boom, boom. But yeah, that's kind of the general concept. Should have probably done it last week. Sorry. But we'll get to it next. Well, not next week. Well, maybe. Good segue to talk about what we're painting next week.